recording is on. Yes, I'm glad you guys can make it. So I'm excited about this class, even though I know I don't feel very electric. Today, I have been processing this solar eclipse in such a deep way. You know, I did some microdosing last night. I had a whole lot of dreams and a whole lot of traveling. And then today I woke up in nothing but a flood of emotions. I've had flood of emotions all day, which has been really good because it's exactly what I asked for. It's what I wanted. I wanted to really feel and make sure that I was tapping into all this stuff that we're going to be digging into today, which is we're on the eve of the Scorpio shift. And on the eve of the Scorpio shift, of course, we have this eclipse that is coming in less than a few hours, as well as just a lot of energy is shifting into the Scorpio dynamic. So a lot of this Pluto stuff that we started talking about at the beginning of the year, which in April is starting to like really come to a full head. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of those things we talked about in class last class, which was boundaries and, you know, clearing up a lot of things and getting clear on details as it relates to our next year. We're going to just get into all of that. So today we're going to deal with the basics. Of course, y'all know that I want to make sure that anytime we are talking, that I don't want to assume that anybody has been working with me or that's seasoned enough to know how all the aspects work. So we're going to definitely get into the basics of Scorpio today. We're going to talk about the basics of Pluto, as well as talk about this new moon eclipse, you know, and how this energy is going to affect us for this Scorpio season, as well as just the new moon energy leading into our next class, which will be the full moon in Taurus class, which is also going to be a lunar eclipse. So we're going to be dealing with 2 weeks of almost like this back-to-back energy as it relates to this eclipse energy and the cycles of endings, death, transformations, you know, regeneration. All of that energy is what we are on the eve of stepping into, okay? As well as I hope you guys brought your relationship agreements to class today. For those of you that didn't come to the last class, if you did not get a chance to do it, it's okay. The reason why I wanted you guys to really do it is so that we can spend some time today after we go through the Scorpio dynamics and just kind of really get into talking about it, okay? So that's what today is for. So for those of you that sent them over to me, I got them. Some of them I sent back out. Some of them I did not send back out because I wanted to use this class for us to actually go through each one, okay? So we're going to do that. So for those of you that did not do your relationship agreements, oh, it's okay. You know, I put the pressure on because I know if I put the pressure on, then they will be ready when they really need to be ready, which is by the full moon. Okay. So tricks on you. Wasn't really due this week. You know what I'm saying? I just told you that because, you know, I know sometimes we like to be late. So y'all are on time. Look at that. Look at God, as they say. All right. So we're going to go through that so that you guys can finish those up so that by the next class that we have, that's going to be all on you. So meaning whatever you do not do between now and October 8th, which is when the full moon in Taurus is going to be, that's on you. So if you're not ready, you can't blame nobody but you for not being ready, okay? And the whole purpose of this is because we're going to start off our 2023 plans on the 1st of November, okay? So the sooner you get it done, the easier you can go ahead and start off your 2023, okay? If you don't have it done, you can't really get started because you're not clear on what you actually are doing, okay? So know that that's what that whole energy for is. We're going to spend a bulk of the class today just going through the relationship agreements for those of you that did it. For those of you that don't, if you want to kind of still stay and go through yours while we're on the phone together today, you can do that. And then, yeah, we'll get into any other things that you guys want to talk about. If y'all have any pressing questions that's going on, things that have been coming up for you since our last class until this class, then we can talk about those things too, okay? Let's get into it. Let me pull down the screen. Let me share. Share my screen, share my screen, share my screen, share my screen. All right, okay. All right, so we're going to first talk about the basic aspects of Scorpio. All right, so anytime we're dealing with Scorpio, which is during this season or almost this season, because we're still technically today is still Libra, okay? Still Libra, a lot of stuff, okay? Libra moon, Libra sun, but we shifted, all right? Let me pull up this other one. Can y'all see my screen? Marcel, you're the only face I can see. Can you see my screen? Okay, perfect. No, well, that's okay to have that up. Why does this always happen? All right. So anytime we're dealing with the Scorpio dynamic, okay, Scorpio can be anywhere between October 23rd, 24th, leading all the way through November 21st, 22nd. Okay, the symbol is the scorpion. Shout out to all of our Libra, Scorpio cusp babies that are in the room. If you know, and if you're not a cusp baby, just shout out to the Scorpios. I know Marcel is the Scorpio, so the other Scorpios that will be watching this back, shout out to you. This is a good season, okay? It is the ruler of the 8th house. It's the ruling planets are both Pluto and Mars, okay? So today we're going to focus on the Pluto aspect of Scorpio, and then when we have our class, our next class, we're going to focus on the Mars dynamic as well as the Venus dynamic. So we're going to talk about the Venus and Mars dynamic again. Even though we talked about it last month, we talked about it from an Aries and a Libra perspective. This time it's going to be Scorpio and Taurus perspective, okay? So a little bit different on how they show up. The element of Scorpio is water. It is responsible for the fixed mode or the fixed energy, and the keywords are transform, they are regeneration, they are all the stuff that was on the flyer for class today, okay? Death, transformation, you know, and some sex as well. But like I said, today we're going to not focus on the sexual aspect of it, even though we are starting to feel the sexual energy, okay? Anytime Scorpio comes in, it brings in the intensity of the passion and just us wanting to be close or wanting to be with somebody. You know, it's one of them points of before the winter season really kicks in to where we just kind of want to lock down a bed because we want to be in the bed and want to be doing several things as it relates to our partnership. So this is definitely one of those energies where you're starting to feel it. So if you are single, you know, and you're ready to mingle, it is the Scorpio energy that's doing it to you. Okay, that's what you are feeling. All right, so when we're talking about the Scorpio dynamic as well, we're talking about Pluto, right? So whenever Pluto comes into the picture, Pluto has everything to do with this whole evolution, this whole energy of evolution. It also has a lot to do with how we see ourselves, how we support others, and also where we have trust issues, okay? So real quick on the chat, type in where is your Scorpio dynamics, okay? So if you got Scorpio sun, Scorpio Venus, just let me know where your Scorpio energy is, okay? Great. I got my chat up. Where is y'all Scorpio? Nobody's talking to me. Scorpio Uranus, okay? All right, Uranus in 2nd house. Come on then, Sherry, with the making sure we know what house is in. All right, Scorpio sun, Uranus in Scorpio, of course, Venus in Scorpio. All right. Anything else? Scorpio in the 11th and the 12th. Okay, Mars and Uranus. Okay, Pluto. I'm Scorpio. Yes, Scorpio in the 8th house. Yep. Neptune and Scorpio and in the 8th house. All right. Y'all mark that. Those of you that got your Scorpio aspect in the 8th house, just know I'm doing this right here. That's some good stuff. Okay. Some real good stuff. Now, anytime we got this Pluto energy that we're dealing with and the Scorpio energy together, okay? A lot of it, when I say, is where you have your trust issues, because Scorpio usually comes to show us where you are supporting other people more than you're supporting yourself. Why? Because it is an extreme support system space. If you have a Scorpio dynamic in your life, a Scorpio sun person in your life, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It does not get better than a Scorpio dynamic being your support person. So when we're talking about business partners or people who, you know, you're building a team and you want somebody to come in and actually take over or do some things for you in your absence, the Scorpio energy can do that. Why? Because it is extreme support. It wants to make sure that you look great and you do great. Okay. It doesn't have to be the controller of it. It doesn't have to be the person over it. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure that that energy is really well. But at the same token, Pluto and Scorpio energy is also where we don't sometimes tell the truth. And when I mean tell the truth is sometimes you don't want to always support. Sometimes you got other stuff to do, right? But sometimes that Scorpio dynamic finds its default in helping others at the detriment of yourself. So sometimes when that happens, this is where these trust issues tend to come in, because sometimes, you know, that Scorpio dynamic can do things against itself. And when the person that they're doing that for does not follow suit and do that same thing, then they're gonna have a problem with you. Okay. Scorpio is also that place where even though it'll come in and help you and support you, if you don't give that energy back, then this is also could be a person who would take you down, okay? Because it does not mind showing you the change, showing you where it is that you need to also evolve into something bigger. So when you're looking at where you have Scorpio dynamics, so let's go through them, right? So those of you that said Scorpio sun, we're gonna go over that because y'all already know what Scorpio sun is, right? The illumination of the sun energy is showing you how you actually show up. So that dynamic is just pretty much the battery of the car, okay? Those of you that said you had Scorpio Venus. So this is how you tend to love. You tend to love by showing up for others more than you show up for yourself. Now I'm bringing this up because in a minute when we start talking about these boundaries, right? This is going to be really important because depending on where you have your Scorpio energy is where you need to tighten up on your boundaries, okay? And tighten up on your boundaries is going to help you with the clarity for your 2023, okay? So wherever your Scorpio Pluto energy is, okay, keep in mind that this is where you need to tighten up as it relates to how you give your energy versus how it is when it comes down to you giving yourself that same vibration. It's off. It's not the same. Okay. So if you want to reciprocate the energy or get back what you're giving out, you have to lead from that vibration. You have to take care of yourself. You have to do things for yourself. So if you've ever worked with me and we've ever got a chance to talk about this water energy, one of the main things I say is self-care is president. Okay, no matter what water you have, whether it's Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, self-care takes precedence. The reason why it takes precedence is because when a water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer, tend to do for themselves first, then they have an overflow. So then you can show up and then you can be a great support system. Then you can do what you need to do for other people without that resentment energy of feeling like, you know what, this is why I don't help people, or this is why I don't trust people, right? A lot of that vibration comes up because you are doing it's self-inflicted, okay? Now understand that Scorpion energy, that tail that's on the end of that scorpion or whatever, those of us who know and study the scorpion aspect know that when a scorpion feels like it's in danger or feel like something is going on, that scorpion will kill itself to kill you, okay? And that's what a lot of us do in our Scorpio aspects. What I mean is, because we don't show up for ourselves the way that we need to, we are at a detriment of ourselves. We're doing more to ourselves than we are thinking that we're doing for the other person. You're not fully showing up for yourself, which makes you take her out. One of the main things that a Scorpio out of balance say all the time, and y'all keep this in mind for your Scorpio sun people, the people who have a lot of Scorpio sun energy. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I feel tired. Okay. When you hear them say that, knowing that that's what I mean. That is that Scorpio aspect showing up for other people more than it's showing up for itself. And because of that, it's always tired. It's always can't do what it need to do for self, okay? So from this point moving forward, as you move into 2023, I need you guys to correct how you use your Scorpio energy. I need you to correct how you use your Pluto energy. What I mean is I need you to start moving forward in a self-care perspective, doing a lot of energy for yourself. So as you start to move into this 2023, one of the things that can be really clear is your boundaries, okay? And what it is that you're going to do for yourself first versus what you're going to do for other people. So meaning that one of the things that I want you guys to carry into before you do anything for anybody else, make sure that you're doing for yourself first. Okay. So meaning if you got to go, if somebody call you and say, hey sis, can you come in, help me move? Okay, sure. I'll be there in 2 hours. You take them 2 hours, gonna run you a tub bath and get in the tub. Okay. Why did I say get in the tub? Why am I telling you go to water? Somebody want to answer that for me? Why? Why am I saying go get it in the tub? Go and sit in some water.
Water sign.
Water sign. So what does water sign do? What does it do? Charge
Bring
you up.
there.
Goes back where it came from.
Exactly. You sat in water for 9 months. Okay. Your mama nurtured you in water. So the fastest way to ground the Scorpio energy and to feel the energy of the water dynamic is to get in the water. Okay. That could be you live by a beach, you live by the ocean, you can go get in the ocean too. You know what I'm saying? Water, go to water, drinking more water. Okay. Hydrating. All right. I should have made all y'all bring water to class today to remind you. Matter of fact, on the break, go and get you some water so we can make sure we're drinking water. Okay. Who was that hell of water? Start as you. Let me see. That's right. Water. Okay. So this week, drink a lot of water. Drink more water than you've been drinking. Okay. I don't care how much water you think you've been drinking. Increase it. You need a little bit more. Because the more water you drink, the more hydration you have, the more you are taking care of yourself, the less tired you're going to feel. Okay. And the less you're going to feel like you need to take care of everybody else and ignore yourself. Water reminds you of where you came from, because that's exactly where you came from. You were molded and groomed inside of the water dynamic. Okay. Now, know that this Pluto cycle that we're in, right? This Capricorn Pluto energy, it's going to be with us for a while, even though we are no longer in the Pluto retrograde energy. You're still dealing with the Pluto Capricorn dynamic. The Pluto and Capricorn energy has everything to do with legacy, foundation, has everything to do with structure, right? Because we're talking about Pluto in Capricorn. Capricorn is our what? Our discipline, our structure, is your purpose. It's how you show up, right? Show up on the world stage. So it is talking about now the things that you're supposed to come here to do, right? This is Pluto saying, hey, I came here to help you to get into what you actually came here to do. So that's why I told y'all last class, ain't no faking until you make it for 2023. That's over and done. The reason why it's over and done is because the Pluto cycle that we've been dealing with since April 2022 is now showing you everything. So everything that you've been going through for the last couple of months, that's what this is about. So if you've been feeling all over the place or feeling like, what is going on? I feel chaotic. My money ain't right. Whatever has been the issue, that's been because this is what Pluto was trying to show you. It's trying to show you that it is a better way of going about this. And the better way of going about this is making sure that your boundaries are intact. Okay. A lot of the reason why you spent out, right? You was tired in April. Now you're tired now. You don't see the mirror reflection and why that is. You can't understand why that is, right? If you don't understand why that is, go back and review what was going on for you in April. Go back and look at some of the key principles of the things that you was dealing with in April. And whatever that is, whether it was money, relationships, friendships, family ships, business partnerships, corporate partnerships, of working for somebody, whatever the case may be, what you are sitting in today and what you're going to be getting a real huge mirror about for the next week, 2 weeks, is going to be that same thing, because now your time is up. And I told y'all that in April. I said, hey, the stuff that you're dealing with right now is going to be 6 months long. It's going to be thick. It's going to be a long, vast conversation about you, your boundaries, the people that you put your energy into, the stuff that you're not giving back, those space that you're holding for people that they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. Okay, I don't care how many ways you try to cut that piece of whatever it is. They don't deserve it. The reason why they don't deserve it is because y'all are not on the same page. I don't care how long you've been knowing these people. The time is up. Okay, and whatever the scenario was. And because that's the case, this energy that you're going to be dealing with tomorrow is going to start off with really showing you and revealing some things to you that you have been ignoring. That's what I love about Pluto and Scorpio the most, is because it is really good about showing you your shadows, showing you the things that you run and hide from, okay? And the reason why is because just like when we was dealing with the Virgo energy, and I was telling y'all, hey, this is the last point of year to get your shit together before everything explodes. This is the explosion I'm talking about. Scorpio is the explosion. Scorpio is the, you're going to do this or else, okay? So whatever the energy it has been for you over the last few months, it's been trying to get you to see something about yourself. And that is the fact that you matter, okay? The energy that comes with you matters. You deserve to have everything that you desire. You deserve to have all the values. But if you are not willing to give it to yourself, the universe can't help you. All it's gonna do is take all the things that's been a distraction from you. So we don't wanna be in a space where we are being forced to fight and do all the stuff against the Pluto dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Don't fight it. Let yourself finally feel what it is that you're going through, because in this space that you're in right now is where everything changes. That's why we're kicking off the new year on the 1st, right? Because as you go into this whole dynamic of changing and setting boundaries and realizing where you need to transform and where you need to die, because some of us do need to die, literally, in the sense of a lot of the energy that you're carrying needs to be let go. So because of that, you should be ready to do this. Now, if you're not ready to go ahead and move forward, it's fine. Just know that by December 1st, everybody in this community will be starting our 2023 goals. If you're ready now, we're going to be starting this on the 1st. So on the 1st, it's time to clean up, clear out, put out all the things that you need to put into practice, put it into practice now. Why? So by the time the new year does come in, you'll already be seasoned. You'll already be 30 to 45 days already into your goals and into your dreams. Okay, so we're going to use the Jupiter / the Sagittarius cycle to kick things off versus waiting on the Capricorn dynamic and Saturn to come in to do the check and balances. You're doing the check and balances now. That's what we're going to use the Scorpio eclipse energy for, check and balances. So sit down and reevaluate. Don't be mad and disappointed. Say, this is the prime opportunity for me to clear some things up. Okay. All right. Now let's go into the chart for tomorrow. Can y'all also put, did y'all tell me what y'all Pluto energy was? I don't think I asked. So put it on in the chat too. Where's your Pluto? What Pluto sign do you have and what house is your Pluto inside of? And if it's the same as your Scorpio dynamics, that's fine. I'm pulling this up. All right, let's see. Okay, Pluto and Libra in the 2nd house. Pluto and Libra in the 7th house. All right, Pluto and Sag in the 12th. Pluto and Libra in the 7th. All right, Pluto and Libra. Marcel, where's in what house? For those of you that have, so Sherry, what I'm getting ready to tell you about this chart for tomorrow is going to be directly in your house, okay? Directly in your 1st house. Okay. Pluto and Libra in the 6th house. All right. Pluto and Libra 7. My bad, 6th house. 11th house. All right. So for those of you with Pluto in the 1st house, no matter what sign is in, Pluto in the 1st house energy is what we're going to talk about as far as what this whole new moon energy is in, because that's where it's sitting. Okay, it's sitting in the 1st house. Okay, not only is it sitting in the 1st house, we got like 4 planets. I want to say 4 placements are all in the 1st house. Okay, so this is going to definitely be an overhaul of how we are showing up, okay, or how the world is viewing us and how we look. All right, if you got Pluto in the second house, this is going to be of this energy that we're talking about is going to be sitting in your second house. Second house is the house of money, values, and foundation. Okay, if Pluto's in the third, it has a lot to do with your social circles, your communication, as well as siblings. If Pluto's in the fourth house, it has to do with your home environment. Okay, or it has to do with, you know, some things about the home environment changing. All right, if Pluto's in the fifth house, that has everything to do with the stage, how you are showing up, how you are shining, how you are acting, producing those things. The whole dynamic of showing up is going to be in that dynamic. If Pluto is in the sixth house, it has everything to do with your health, okay? It has everything to do with your health perspectives. Pluto in the seventh, relationship. So some areas of the relationship dynamic needs to change and transform, okay? Meaning healthier boundaries, because that Libra energy, definitely in that seventh house perspective, will make you go back and forth. So some part of that is dismissing yourself. Pluto in the eighth house. Pluto in the eighth house is ruled by the eighth house. So it has a lot to do with death, transformation, boundaries, making sure that you're being very clear on those boundaries, how you support others. A lot of it has to do with your money and other people's monies as well. Pluto in the ninth house has everything to do with travel and education. So meaning you either dealing with something in the educational system, needing to go back to school, dealing with school, you know, making the transformation by going back to school, those things. Pluto in the 10th house has everything to do with you showing up as far as the world is concerned, meaning like, again, the structures, you being very diligent on what it is that you need to do and provide. So meaning you needing to put yourself into the position of getting out there and doing what you need to do, okay? Pluto in the 11th house has everything to do with your friends, okay? So your friend circle, the humanitarian efforts that you may not be doing or needing to do, you've been procrastinating on those, get to those. When it comes down to Pluto in the 12th house, a lot of this has to do with you yourself, right? You yourself changing and transforming, not escaping, being very apparent of your dreams, tapping into your dreams. So a lot of this energy that we're talking about for today, meaning the new moon eclipse energy, wherever your Pluto energy is going to be showing up in that dynamic as well as in your Scorpio placement, okay? So it's going to really hit those placements. So when we look at where the dynamics is for this chart, right, which is right here, we can see that most of this energy that we're dealing with is right here in this first house, okay? The first house has everything to do with your head, okay? So headaches, you know, dealing with stuff, dealing with your eyes, dealing with your teeth, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff. And even though the teeth is ruled by the Capricorn dynamic, it's still inside your head, okay? So meaning you can still be dealing with the whole teeth dynamic, the teeth issues, okay? But things that as it relates to the head dynamic is where this eclipse is really showing up and saying, hey, we need to really, you know, talk about some things. We need to talk about how you've been showing up, okay? How you've been showing up for yourself. Not only is the sun and the moon, the eclipse energy in the first house, along with that is this Venus energy as well. And then we also have Fortune, okay? And Fortune is like one of them aspects that help us to deal with how we deal with like relationship energy as well, but it's also about like I call it our fortune place, right? So even one of those spaces of our fortune. So we talk about, you know, the ancestors and how they want to, you know, make sure that they're showing up for us, or the blessings that can come from our past lives. You know, this is a good week for that, okay? I think I posted something today or yesterday. I don't know if you guys follow Aquarius Maximus, but she does cardology, right? So the cardology cards also go in alignment with astrology, just like the I Ching goes along with astrology, just like human design go along with astrology. All this stuff goes together. So if you look at some of these other modalities, all they're doing is backing up what the astrology mode is saying. So even with the, I think it is the 4 of Diamonds this week. I forgot what card it was, but the card that's showing up this week, because I'm still teaching myself cardology, but the card this week has everything to do with blessings, right? But in order for you to get to the blessings, you have to get through the shit. Okay, you have to really be willing to release and let go a lot of the dynamics that have been plaguing your generations and plaguing your legacy for a very long time, okay? And when we think about it, you look at how these aspects show up, the sun, moon, along with Venus, right? And along with fortune is saying, hey, listen, okay, our energy, we need to go and really transform and overhaul our energy. We have to also overhaul our emotions. A lot of stuff we've been doing have been based on our emotions. We've been triggered, right? Or you know, triggered to a certain situation that we don't want to do, don't want to show up for ourselves. Well, if you don't want to show up for yourself, think about that you're also not showing up for 7 generations in the past and 7 generations in your future. I can hear a lot of y'all saying now, well, they ain't give a shit about me. They actually did, okay? They cared. But a lot of times we go through a lot of emotional things, we don't know how to shift ourselves out of it, okay? So know that this energy dynamic that we're dealing with is asking you to shift yourself out of it. You gotta be willing to do this for you first, because doing it for you is going to automatically help the generations in the past and in the future. And when I mean generations in the future, I'm talking about your children. Those of us who have kids, you're not just living this life purely for you. You're living this life because you are tied to people that's tied to people that's tied to people. Okay, that's going to be the case even if you didn't have children. You still tied to people that's tied to people. So we made a contract. We made an energetic spiritual contract to come here to live our best lives. What I love about the Pluto, aka Scorpio dynamic, is that it's going to make sure that you live there by hell or high water. The reason why is because it is the back door to the Taurus aspect. What is Taurus? Value system, foundation. Okay, the things that you say that you want, need, and desire, all that stuff, it comes through this Taurus dynamic, where Scorpio's here to make sure that happens, even though sometimes it don't look like it. Even though sometimes you may get fired, right? The reason why you get fired is because you've been daydreaming at the job saying that I really wish I could just start my business. I really want to do the things that I've always want to do. I'm so talented in art. I just really want to do my art. But you're going to a job you hate every day. So when you keep saying that, understand that where we have Scorpio and Pluto is also where we have our occult, right? The occult meaning where you go in the darkness, where you actually go and do your magic and your rituals. Let me show y'all something. Now, I found these at Walmart here in Mexico. Look at these. Wait, the right way? No, this is the right way. Look at it. Y'all see this? This is what I mean about dark, going into your darkness, okay? Now, why did I find these? Why did these just happen to? I wasn't looking for these at Walmart. I was in there buying stuff that I need. Why did Spirit make me see these, right? To remind you that in your darkness is where you find everything. That's where you came from. Scorpio rules the water, but in that water is darkness, right? When you sit in your mama's womb, you in the dark. You figuring everything out in the dark. You figuring out how you're going to come up out that belly, okay? I need y'all to figure out how you're going to come up out this belly again, because that's what you inside of. Right now, you finna go for the next 2.5 weeks. You're finna go through some darkness, y'all. It's going to be really tight. On top of that, it's because we also have a grand trine in air that's backing this up, okay? You got a Venus Sun conjunction that's going on too, along with all this air trine. There's a lot of shit changing. If y'all have not been aware of it, a lot of things are changing. I ain't talking about the change that we went through for 2020 and 2021. Was they some significant changes? Yes, they were. But a lot of it was lies. Okay, a lot of us went through changes based on lies. This change you're doing now is based on truth and your own individual truth. Okay, so the darkness that you're gonna feel starting today, tomorrow, as energy starts to get a little bit more tighter on you, understand the emotions that you're feeling is because that's where the blocks are. You've been having some severe blocks surrounding what you got going on in your life, and because you've been so busy trying to survive, okay? Survive, pay your bills, make sure your business don't fall through, make sure your kids have what they need. You have been really ignoring yourself, and ignoring yourself is why you have weak ass boundaries. Okay, meaning it ain't really about other people stepping on your boundaries. You're stepping over them first. And because you're stepping over your boundaries, it's easy for other people to not uphold those things. So a lot of this energy that you're going to be shown this week leading into the full moon of Taurus, or AKA the lunar eclipse, is going to be an emotional energy. It's an emotional energy because a lot of these planets are making huge changes as it relates to who you are in this world, who you are in this dynamic. If you did not know, let me confirm for you right now. You are your ancestors. Okay, those ancestors that back in the day, they had a lot of money, had a lot of land, that was able to make a lot of moves and do a lot of things. Guess what? You're them. You're reincarnated them. So a lot of this energy that you're feeling like you gotta break free is because of that, because you know better. You was here before, and now you're seeing what the legacy has gone through. You're here to reset the legacy so that moving forward, we can get back on the train of having our royalty. We can get back on the train of having everything that you know that you're supposed to have. One of the biggest upsets to me coming back in this life was that the fact that all the shit I work for, where is it? Why do I feel like I'm having to work hard? Why don't I have the things I'm supposed to have? Well, I realized because I'm here to reactivate those things. Okay, so you are the reactivators for your family and your legacies. Okay, what your children and your grandchildren will have, what your nieces and nephews will have, is going to be based on what you do, because ain't nobody gonna do it if you don't do it. Okay, remember I told y'all in the last class, you are the billionaire, you are the one with the money, so money is not the issue here. The issue here is the fact that most of us in the last life, when we was here, you were a huge sacrificial lamb. What I mean is, yeah, you got the money, you got all the values, but what you also did was you took care of everybody else better than you took care of yourself. What's the evidence? You doing it again now? You've been doing it. Look at yourself. Evaluate, put yourself on a sheet of paper and write down how much you do for other people versus how much you do for yourself, and there's your evidence. I also know that you did it because you in my room, okay? You in here with me, and I know I did it. So again, if we're mirror reflections, this is the evidence. So that's why we're here now, to make sure that we don't do that moving forward. This eclipse is going to make sure that it happens, okay? Along with that, Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus energy all sent into this first house. You also got Mars in Gemini in the ninth, okay? The ninth house energy, we know anytime we're looking at that, we're talking about now how we go towards our Jupiter energy, right? How we then educate ourselves. So meaning you need to tighten up on how it is that you've been using these tools. A lot of y'all got a lot of tools you're not using, okay? You wait until you go through something real detrimental, and then you want to pull the tools out. The tools are not just there when you're not feeling great. The tools are not just there when you feel like you're going through a really heavy transition. You need to practice these fucking tools every day. Put them into action, because that's where, when you put them into action, now they're becoming a part of your fabric. And now, not only they're part of your fabric, now you can see things ahead of time. One of the things I told y'all too, when we move into the next year, we're going to start to incorporate a lot of world energy, right? So I made a post 2 days ago from Gary Vee talking about just the state of the world and finances, right? And how that is a symbolism of us walking into the eclipse energy, and we're walking into the Scorpio dynamic, right? Well, that's what I mean about moving forward. As we get into the next year, it's time to step into a deeper level as it relates to what you see. A lot of us are seeing the changes, you're seeing the transitions, but you're slow to really activate yourself on those things. The reason why you're slow to it, because you much rather take care of somebody else versus taking care of yourself. When you shift that dynamic and put yourself first, when you start to see the symbols, when you start to see headlines and world news, because the world is moving on the astrology axis. The world is moving on human design. The world is moving on the I Ching. So if you're not using these tools, you're late. You're late to the party. Right? So it's time to get ahead of that. Don't you want to pre-plan and make sure that you got stuff in order? Well, this is what this energy is doing. Right now, us studying this eclipse before it happens is your opportunity to pre-plan, meaning doing the work. The relationship agreement I asked y'all to do was pre-planned. It was before the actual hit of it. Why? Because that's how you really start to use these tools, by looking, projecting, predicting based on what you can see and knowing what it is that you're supposed to do. Okay. That's an energy of Mars in the night, meaning like start getting ready to make that move energy, making that energy towards really incorporating this educational energy, and not just learning more. I need y'all to start teaching it too, okay? I'm not gonna be the only one doing this stuff. And I'm not the only one doing it, but I'm talking about in this room, in this group. Y'all need to start to teach as well. Teach what you know, right? So pull your children aside and ask them how their day going and if they studied their chart. You know what I'm saying? Or ask them, are they doing their meditation to make sure that they are, tapping deeper into their boundaries? Teach this stuff. The more you teach it, the easier it becomes to be in the fabric of your DNA, and it's easier to pass down in the bloodline when you are not just learning it, but you're practicing it as well, okay? Jupiter's in Aries in the 6th house. Okay, so this 6th house energy, this a lot to do with the health dynamic. So some health dynamic energy is starting to really show up. So meaning if you haven't really be tackling your health, then again, the head energy, headache, stuff like this that's going on in the head dynamic is only letting you know what's definitely going on in the body. Okay, I woke up yesterday with a doggone knot right here in my head. And I don't know where it came from. I don't remember hitting my head. I could have, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, okay, I know what this is. I know where this is coming from, what this energy is. So be mindful of things like that. That's obviously giving you signals and symbols, but you're ignoring it like it ain't nothing. No, it's something. It's something for you to pay attention to. All right. Saturn in Aquarius in the 5th house. So all of this being ready to really get out there and do more for your life. Get out of the shadows, get out of hiding, get in the forefront of what it is that you've been really wanting to do. Okay, the whole Saturn in Aquarius energy, this is the age of Aquarius. So a lot of us have strong Aquarius energy where we're supposed to be helping these children because these kids didn't necessarily get all the things that we may have got, right? So it's time for us to reach back and help them. And you know how you do that? Using social media. Okay, a lot of us don't like social media. I'm one of the ones. I teeter-totter back and forth on that thing. I want to do it some days and some days I don't. Okay, but I know that when I'm doing it, it's helping me to not only, again, move forward, the future. Aquarius means the future, but I'm also helping the kids who are the future. Okay, that's what this whole thing is about. Uranus is also dealing with the Taurus energy in the 8th house. So this is that death and transformation, going towards your values, right? Not over splurging. So this is going to be the time period. Those of you that did the Virgo challenge with us, and we went through that money system, it's time for you to go back into your money system. Okay, tighten up on your finances. No splurging for this month. Okay, so meaning if it doesn't need to be done, don't do it. The reason why is because we're getting ready to go through a shift in money. Okay, you're going to hear cryptocurrency come back up again. Even though crypto has been up and down, you're going to start to hear a lot of crypto talk again because we're still trying to figure out this money system and what's going to be the money for the future. Okay, so NFTs, a lot of those things are going to be able to come back up. Another conversation for that. So if you do have investments in cryptocurrency or in NFTs, or been thinking about NFTs, now it's time to get more education on these things. Find a group, a community of people who you can learn from. Okay, trading, currencies, all these things are the topics of conversation. So while we're going through this shift and transition as it relates to money, you need to tighten up on your money. Okay, so again, no splurging, doing things that you need to do, making sure that you are taking care of your bills, put your bills on priority, taking care of them, credit cards on priority, doing all those things, but no splurging. Okay, Neptune in the 6th energy, again, is also dealing with that same thing of dealing with the Jupiter energy. So not only are we supposed to be really paying attention to a lot of the health things that we need to really tackle and get ahead on, you also need to realize that doing so, right, is going to break you free of a lot of things, a lot of stuff that you're feeling in your body, a lot of tiredness, ailments, all of that. A lot of that energy is because you are ignoring it. Okay, so 6th house, deal with your 6th house energy during the Scorpio dynamic. Okay, so going towards it, going to maybe get a checkup, getting some blood work done just to see how your levels are. Okay, it wouldn't hurt to see what those things are. And again, Pluto in the Capricorn energy in the 4th house. So we out of the retrograde part of it, but the 4th house energy has a lot to do with the family dynamic. So a lot of this stuff is changing. Not only the family dynamic, how you have been nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself versus how you have been nurturing others. We come from a group of women who were sacrificial, okay? Meaning that they were taught to do for everybody else and then do for themselves. That point of time has changed. No longer can we move in 2023 doing nothing for nobody else that we have not done for ourselves. That is not going to go. It is a no-go from this point moving forward, okay? On top of that energy, The eclipse energy is also dealing with the south node. Okay, our south node is in Scorpio as well. So because we're dealing with a south node eclipse, this energy has a lot to do with past life karma. So if you want to, you know, break free from a lot of ties, or let's just say you have a relationship that you have been trying to get free from, okay? What I mean getting free from, the energy of it, how it's been making you feel. Maybe it's been making you feel like, you know what I'm saying, you are not worthy or don't deserve love, or whatever the case may be. This is a good week to break free from that, okay? Now, I'm not one that will ever tell y'all to like go all ritualistic when it comes down to eclipse energy, because eclipse energy is one of those time periods where the light goes out, okay? The light goes out, and then when it comes back on, it illuminates things, right? So instead of y'all don't do any rituals during the actual eclipse, but right after it, leading up to the weekend, as we get closer to the Halloween, which is the thinnest veil of the year, yes, step into some ritual work, okay? So do some things for yourself. When I mean ritual work, I'm talking about your prayers, your meditations, lighting your candles, you know what I'm saying? Even if you just hold your candle in your hand and do a prayer, you know, of something that you want to see happen. You know, you want to cut your cords or cut ties from certain things, certain energies, then do that, okay? Use this energy this week to do it, because you have a lot of ancestral energy that's really strong on that, okay? Not only are we setting precedents for 2023, because of how these trines and conjunctions are all formulating along with this energy and dealing with this north node, south node, Taurus, Scorpio dynamic, a lot of this energy too is here to help you to, again, tap deeper into this cycle of next year, but also we're dealing with an 8-year cycle change, okay? So what you're looking at today, and these eclipse is going to also carry us all the way through 2023, meaning like, especially into Taurus season of 2023. So you got a good 6 months of really looking at that. But when we look at the whole overhaul of what's happening, when you look at this entire thing, right, and how it's playing out, we're starting a new 8-year chapter based on this eclipse, okay, the eclipse season. So if you want to even plan 8 years out, right, you can start to do that. Start to look at, ask yourself the question, what do I want in values? What boundaries do I want to uphold, and make sure that these things are being done for the next 8 years, okay? 8 years. So not just 2023, 8 years, including 2023, okay? And if that's too much for you, just stay with 2023. But again, I expect y'all to know how to be able to incorporate this by just listening to yourselves. Your intuition is talking. We're meeting here today to confirm what it is that your intuition is already saying to you, okay? All right. So some of the other cycles that's also going on, this is just some of the retrogrades that's left in the year. We're going to have another Mercury retrograde is going to kick off. Did I say that one? In December. But right now we got this Chiron retrograde to the 23rd. You got this Neptune retrograde till December 3rd as well. And then of course we just came out of the Pluto cycle, came out of on October 8th, but we're still in it. We have pre-phase and shadow phase, so you're still dealing with it. So all this energy is just combining itself to give you the best possible year ever. When I tell y'all 2023 is going to be a good year all the way around, love, relationship, better friendships, new friendships, you know what I'm saying, more travel. So even though it looks like money is starting to shrink, just think about how it looked in 2020 when COVID hit, right? A lot of people started to, you know, panic a little bit about what money was going to be, but it was one of the best years ever when it comes down to money. 2023 is going to be even a better money year than that. All right. So let's get into relationship agreements. All right. So we started out talking about this relationship agreement last class. And I told y'all that the purpose of really getting into this relationship agreement is so that as you are moving through this cycle, you can be very clear on your boundaries, okay? So your wants, needs, and your desires are setting the precedence as it relates to your boundaries. All right. So when we look at the wants, we're looking at the needs and desires. All of that is Scorpio talk. All of that is Scorpio and Taurus talk. So if you want to know what the relationship agreement is really for, even though it has a heavy foundation in Libra energy, I really created it during the April season of this year. Okay, I created it during that time period so that we can start to really get into some dynamics of, instead of us moving in relationships based on what we think, you know what I'm saying, it's moving in intention. Okay, if we're moving in intention, we can really have a clear base on how it is that we are accessing our value, which is the Taurus North Node energy, and how we are letting go of the things that we no longer want, which has everything to do with our South Node Scorpio energy. So when we look at your wants, needs, and desires, this is to help you. Wants and needs and desires, all of that is Taurus Scorpio energy. So when you're looking at this, a lot of y'all feel a little timid when it comes down to doing this, right? Or telling me, well, I don't really know what I need to be putting down for my wants, needs, and desires. In your relationship agreement too, and again, you can also go back and do this. There is a link here for you to click on that from last class when we talked about it, and I went through each individual one. I cut that part out, and that's what this is for. So you can go through each and every one of them. When you're looking at your wants, right? The reason why it's difficult for you to do the first page, because most of y'all stopped on the first page, or even when the ones that y'all turned in, when I looked at them, y'all was very vague. It was like one word, right? This is a whole line. You can do more than one word, okay? You can really talk about what do you want, okay? But a lot of us don't know what we want because you have been too busy giving everybody else what they want. That's been your main foundation for life. Doing what other people want you to do and hoping to find gratification in that. And again, 2023 ain't playing that with you. So when we talk about what do you want, I want to know exactly what do you want for your relationship with yourself. What do you want from you? And not this, okay, I want peace, I want balance, I want harmony. What is that? What does that look like? All right, makes full statements, right? So one of the words that are key words that Scorpio like is I desire, okay? Or, words like I transform, or I want to move in a way that makes me feel like I'm in desire, I'm living in my desires, okay? Get real more detailed and as it relates to your wants, okay? When we talk about wants is some of those things that, you put on the table. This is how you're moving towards it. And once you get there, it'll be great, okay? It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a deal breaker. You know what I'm saying? It can be if it's really something that you really, really do want, it can be. But it's more so you moving in the direction of going towards these things as it relates to the relationship for yourself. Again, it don't make no sense for y'all to do relationships agreements with your partners when you don't even know what you want for yourself. So we got to start there. We got to start back to the foundation, the plan A, okay? Point number one, which is how are you relating to yourselves? Most of us have a very bad relationship with ourselves. Most of us don't even know how to activate the dynamics as it relates to a relationship with ourselves, but yet and still you want your partner to give you all these wonderful things in life. It's not gonna happen, okay? And when I mean partner, I'm not just talking about your love partner, I'm also talking about your friendships too. I'm talking about all of the ships, okay? Every ship that you got. You got to have the best relationship with yourself. That's the only way you're going to lead off in 2023 with better, healthy boundaries and better, healthy relationships. It's based on the agreement that you got with yourself. So these wants are things that you want from yourself. How do you want yourself to show up for you? Because the ways in which you want yourself to show up for you is going to guarantee that others will do the same. Same for your needs. When we get into these needs, the needs has everything to do with the stuff. These are not things that are you can compromise on. Okay, needs are needs, right? You need water. Like I told you need to drink water. That's not, you can't compromise on that. You have to have this. If you don't have water, you're gonna be dehydrated. You have dehydration, you can die from dehydration. You understand what I'm saying? So what is it that you need?
Now, I'm just going through this really quick because I'm gonna ask y'all to pull it up and I'm gonna come off a screen share and we're gonna really get into some conversation. One by one, piece by piece. We're going to get into it so that when we leave here, your boundaries are clear. And if they're not clear, then you know what your homework is. You know that you're going to be dealing with your homework this week. So as you're going through the snot and the crying and the releasing, and that's Pluto was showing up in your first house saying, hey, or your second house or wherever it is saying, clear this up, then your relationship agreement is going to become easier for you to deal with. Because now, since you're dealing with all this uproar, you can go to your agreement and say, oh, I know why this is going on, because I didn't handle my needs and my wants and my desires. Okay. Desires are some of those things that Scorpio really wants you to understand that you need too. Okay. Desires are the spaces that we deserve. Okay. You deserve love. You deserve good food. You deserve to be touched. You deserve to have powerful affirmations spoke onto you and into your life. Okay, you deserve to have your dream house, your dream car. You deserve all these things. So your desires are the things that you deserve. So that's why it should be easier for you to put down your desires. What is it that you deserve that you don't have right now? Because that's what that is. Okay. Following up with that, pet peeves and deal breakers, that's just you realizing that you got to get better in your own communication. Okay, self-communication. Some of us have huge pet peeves when it comes to other people, but those same things that we have a huge pet peeve with, we do it to ourselves constantly. You know what I'm saying? You don't like nobody to curse you out or talk negative to you, but then you don't mind your mind and you're constantly speaking negative things to yourself or saying things like, I'm trying. Trying is not a word. That's not a real thing. You either doing something or you ain't doing it. So if you are speaking, trying to yourself, you be like, oh, man, I just keep trying this over and over again. It ain't working. You ain't doing nothing. Okay. So these pet peeves and these deal breakers that I'm talking about, I'm really just talking about communication. I'm talking about how you communicate with yourself. I'm talking about the negative thoughts and things that you put in your head as it relates to how you are communicating. That's what I want you to really attack when it comes down to your deal breakers and how you communicate with yourself. Ways in which you need to learn. You all know ways in which you need to learn more. You all know this. What are some things that you need to be learning when it comes down to right now to help you be better at the crafts that you have so that you can be stronger in stepping into 2023, right? What is it that you need? Do you need education on that tool that you're using? Do you need more self-care? What do you need to learn as it relates to that's going to help you to make sure that you are more confident, okay, about who and what you are leading into this new year? What are some things you need to teach? Everything that you learn, you need to teach. And not be worried about somebody else that's going to come in and take it. Okay, ain't no such thing. You are a unique person and a unique individual. We can all do astrology, but I can guarantee you that you can't do astrology like me. I can guarantee you that. The reason why I can guarantee you that because you don't think how I think. So having more astrology people teach it is great. Why? Because the more you teach it, the more you incorporate it into your life. The easier it is for other people. The ways in which I communicated, everybody can't pick that up. Everybody don't know how to pick that up. But it's some people that I talk to and they get it every single time, right? Well, if I'm not one of the people that they can listen to and get, what about you? What if you're the person that they need to learn from, right? So teach whatever it is that you are doing, teach it. And I guarantee you, not only will you get better at it, you'll have more confidence about leading off on that thing. You'll be more confident about doing it on social media. Whatever your hang up is when it comes down to the things that you know you need to do, teach it. Okay. And I don't care about that. Well, Gigi, I ain't been doing it that long. So why? It don't matter. It don't matter if you ain't been doing that long. Because guess what? There's somebody out there who don't know nothing about it. So even if you've been doing it for a year, 5 months, 6 months, that's enough to share. Because something about your share will not only change your life, but it'll change somebody else's life. When I first started teaching astrology, I had only been really gung-ho on it for a year, but it changed my life in such a way I started telling everybody about it. When I started telling everybody like, ooh, come tell me something. I'm like, look, I don't really know everything about it. They're like, I don't care. I just want you to tell me what you know, what you've learned so far, right? Get out of your own way. Okay, some of y'all are in your own way because you feel like that you just don't got it yet, and you do. Spirit is going to step in and give you the rest. Okay, but teach. That's one of the ways in which you can also expand your Jupiter. Sagittarius is a teacher and a student. The reason why I say Sagittarius is because it's ruled by Jupiter. So when you say Jupiter, you're saying Sag. It's a teacher and a student. Okay, so you can't just always be the student and want to soak up all the knowledge, but you don't want to share because you feel like you're not seasoned enough. Yes, you are. You are seasoned enough. So what are some of the things that you can teach? Teach what you know, because the more you teach it, the more you're going to incorporate it. Okay. Some difficulties. What are some of the difficult things that you're going through right now? Okay. That you don't want to say out loud. You need to say it. The reason why you need to say it is because once you confront the mirror, it becomes easier for you to deal with it. Okay. So if learning or teaching is a difficulty for you, say that. You know what I'm saying? Or if you feel like one of the things that used to bother me a lot when I first started teaching sacred sexuality, right, was my accent. I never felt like my accent was a problem until I went to New York to teach a class with Tyomi. And it was like, I could tell that every time I talked, it was certain people in the audience, they just looked like they were about to throw up. I had never experienced some shit like this before in my life. And so after we were done with the class, there were some people came up to me and they was like, we got a bet on where you from based on your accent, right? And I said, okay. And they was like, where you from? I said, Louisiana. And then one girl said, see, I told you. And the dude was like, man, I thought it was St. Louis. But it was in that moment that I confirmed for myself the whole time that there are people, you know what I'm saying, that just don't like certain accents, that don't like, certain sounds. That's okay. They ain't got nothing to do with me, but I was aware of it, right? And being aware of it, it was one of those things that for just 5 seconds that made me want to hide. Because I felt like, okay, if they're having a hang up with my dialect, or they're having a hang up with how it's coming out, are they even listening to me? And it made me feel like I shrunk just for a second until Spirit was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm feeling away. And it's like, forget that. You're going to always deal with that type of stuff. You're going to always have somebody who don't like something about themselves, so they don't like something about you. That ain't got nothing to do with you, right? But it can still sometimes show up as a difficulty sometimes because you are afraid of judgment when the judgment is internal. It ain't coming from the outside, even though you can recognize, you can witness it. The judgment still is not coming from the external, it's coming from you, because regardless of how people feel about you or what they say about you, is what you say to yourself that really matters. Okay, even me being here in Mexico, not speaking the language, right? Some days I get so caught up in myself because it's like I want to say something, but I'm so afraid of saying something wrong, or the disappointment when I say something wrong, not the outward disappointment, because they are ready and available to help me. Okay, they've said it several times, like, or they will apologize to me for not speaking English, and I'll say to them, no, how you apologize to me? I'm in Mexico. So I'm supposed to be here learning and here willing to speak the language and not being afraid to do that. So I don't need y'all to apologize to me that you can't speak English when I'm on your territory. I'm in your place. You know what I'm saying? But these are still things that could show up as difficulties in your life because of what you're telling yourself. Okay. How do you desire to build the agreement? Quarterly. Okay, you should be doing it every 3 to 4 months, looking at how you need to evaluate yourself with yourself. Okay, preferred way of communicating with yourself, whether that be journaling, whether that be going on a vow of silence so you can talk to your inner voice and really deal with yourself. All these things are going to help you to build better boundaries so that you can move forward in a clearer perspective on how you want your life to be, period. Okay, love languages and additional notes. So now I'm going to come off of screen share. All right, let me see what y'all been saying to me. Y'all did today and had to go lay down. See, that's that's the head thing. All right, that's the energy talking to you and wanting you to sit down and really see what's going on. Yes, ma'am, I sure am. Okay, that damn reset button, Venus retrograde on my birthday. Yes. So you know what that means, right? You know what that Venus retrograde on your birthday means? It means it's directly talking to you, okay? Now, for those of you that brought your relationship agreements, who wants to talk through their relationship agreement? Who want to be first? Don't y'all all raise your hand and run to the stage. You know what I'm saying? Don't be so quick to do it. Ain't nobody saying nothing.
What you mean talk? Like go through the whole thing?
Yes.
First, beginning to end?
Yeah, if you want to go through the beginning, do you feel like you need any help on your relationship agreement?
No, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I just need to be better to myself and with myself.
Okay, so let's talk about that then. Since you say you feel like you don't need no help, are you clear on your boundaries?
I should have said I needed help. Then you would have said I ain't have to say nothing, huh?
No, I'm asking. Are you clear on your boundaries?
Clear on my boundaries.
Mhm.
What you mean? What does that question mean?
See what I'm saying? If you didn't have no questions about your relationship agreement, you should be clear on what that means.
I mean, I don't, okay, so let me ask a question. How do you have boundaries with yourself?
It's a good question. You have boundaries with yourself by upholding the things that you say you won't, need, and desire.
Okay.
Right? So are you clear on your boundaries?
Yes.
Do you think that you are going to be able to go through these next 2 weeks being clear on your boundaries?
Yeah, I can.
The
I
question
will.
mark, yeah.
No, I'm stating a fact. I will.
Okay.
I will be clear on this for the next couple.
Do you feel like there has been any from the last class into this class? What do you feel like you've had any struggles that have shown up that you want to talk about?
Well, I spoke up for myself and I was proud of myself the other night. I was grappling with something for the past couple weeks. I guess, yeah. So the answer to that question is yes, I was dealing with something internally that required me to assert what I was feeling. Yes. And of course, I was fighting myself and trying not to have to say it. But I did. And I was like, you know, to myself, it is what the fuck it is. So it don't matter if he don't like it. This is what it's gonna be. So I just said it and I was like, oh, okay, that feels good.
Yes, that feels great. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. This is what I mean when I say about doing more for other people than you do for yourself. That's a classic Scorpio thing, is to put yourself on the back. And what I mean is a classic Scorpio thing, for you to do stuff for people, like in your head, you know that you should have said something, right? But you don't say something. And the moment you get home, you beat yourself down. And you know, it's this. Or you talk shit about them when you at home. How about you talk shit about them in their face? Tell them what needs to be said. You know what I'm saying? Right. This is what I mean about upholding boundaries. Don't let the time pass without you saying something, because when you do, you let them know it's okay to step over that. That's what you do. But when you say it in the moment of when it's happening, even though it won't, because it doesn't feel good, I'm telling you, sometimes to uphold your boundary doesn't feel good because sometimes you don't want to risk the relationship. But this is the cycle where risking the relationship is necessary. So it's like you said, it don't matter. If he had said, based on what you said, well, I ain't fucking with you no more, then guess what? That was the end. That's what needs to be done. So when I'm talking about moving forward and with boundaries and healthy boundaries, we got to be willing to let relationships die. We got to be willing to let them go in order for us to get what we desire and what we deserve. The value is only going to come after that, right? You only going to get what you deserve when you let go of the things that you don't. So that's what the whole purpose of this is. So bravo to you.